Hi to YouTube. Hey YouTube, so we are going to go ahead and be doing a special chapter reading here on stream. It is quite literally apparently it's the, like, special selection, the Arc 3 Dragon Carriage scene cut content. From what is being posted here on my side of things. The text, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some straight up just answer. It might be a little messed up a little bit, just because it went from Word to Google Doc, and there's some issues with it there. I am going to go ahead and put on a little bit of a filter maybe, just so that way it doesn't get targeted. I'm not sure if that would work. So I'm giving you guys just a little bit of a heads up, you know, so you guys are aware of sort of what's to come. We're going to be reading this, we're going to be talking about it, we're going to be like analyzing it a little bit. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. We did this with Musho Tensei a lot, so I think we're starting to do this with ReZero as well. All right, give me one quick second. All right, let me go ahead and is it there? That's not what I wanted. Where is it? Where is it? There we go. That might help a little bit. All right. Context: during the royal selection arc in episode 12, Emilia just said to Subaru to not follow her to the royal capital. Subaru ignores it, and when trying to find a way into the palace, meets with the Priscilla camp and catches a ride in her dragon towards the palace. Dragon carriage towards the palace. This is the following conversation they have as they travel to the dragon carriage. When Subaru reached Al's destination, he looked up completely and utterly overwhelmed. This is... how to put this? Standing beside him, Al nodded to display his sympathy with Subaru's halting words. I know, bro. I get it. Looking at this and wondering what you should say. Then the two met each other's eyes, pointing at what stood in front of them, and said simultaneously, rich people. The dragon carriage was the very definition of needless extravagance. The passenger cab was subtly engraved and adorned with numerous flamboyant ornaments. Sounds good. Appreciate you. Have a good night, Zictor. Glittering radiant gold leaf has been applied to the exterior, and even the wheels had been jeweled and crusted. The land dragon in front also had an ostentatious appearance. The crimson-skinned, two-headed land dragon had extravagant feathers all down its back, with the intricate designs on the reins and bit completing the image of its quintessential opulence. People ride this? This is some kind of mistake. Unfortunately, even in a vast kingdom such as this, only princess would ride such an embarrassing thing. Subaru did a double take as Al patted him on the back and walked ahead of him towards the occupied vehicle. I like how much of a bro Al is, dude. Like, Al is such a bro, like rich people, dude. But the way that he's relating to Subaru just like this, right? It's like, I find that wonderful. I find it wonderful that like he's able to go ahead and just see him as an individual, and he's able to go ahead and like talk to him at his level about it, you know. But also, I think we're starting to see a lot more of the needless expenditures that some people of the upper royalty do, right? Because let's be honest, they're in for a royal selection. They're in for a moment of like, you know, trying to display one or top one over the other, and you have Subaru who's willing to do almost anything in that regard to get his needs met, right? Oof. It was parked on the side of the street, but nonetheless, an unnecessarily huge dragon carriage just sitting there made a large impact on passerbys. It received many stares, more out of raw shock than indignation at the interference. Deeply conscious of their stares, Subaru finally resigned himself to climbing into the dragon carriage. He could almost hear the unvoiced whispers behind him. He's getting into that? Sitting by herself in a custom seat, a girl greeted them with a crafty smile. You have made me wait some time. Such rudeness can cost you dearly. The girl's attire for that day polished and amplified her beauty even more. The dress was wide open at the chest, presenting her apple bosom with such assertiveness that her sensuality tempted her eyes to wander. I'm extremely humbled and delighted by your invitation. 'Tis no trouble, you are riding for my entertainment, nothing more. A minor amusement I am slipping in at the last minute. Oof. Oof. A minor amusement I am slipping in at the last minute. My thing is, actions have consequences, right? Seeing Subaru in a desperate state and knowing his relation in some way, shape, or form to what his goal may be, it might already be an end game type thing. You're bringing in someone to cause chaos to best benefit you. So I'm super outstanding. So I'm a super outstanding servant here to serve as your entertainment for the evening. You're gonna make me cry. As Subaru scoffed at the door, the seated master and the servant traded glances with each other. The awkwardness had Subaru grinding his teeth by the time Al said to him, "Sit. We can get this dragon carriage moving if you just keep standing there. Even if the blessings makes it not rock on the inside, it's a hell of a lot more comfortable sitting down. Besides, Princess hates being looked down upon. Indeed, you understand me rather well, Al. So, commoner, that is how it is. Sit down at once. If you continue to tower over me like this, I shall have your height reduced by about half." Since it really didn't sound like a joke, Subaru plopped down immediately. That instant, the dragon carriage started. The scenery outside the window moved gently, very gently. Al guessed what was on Subaru's mind, trying not to laugh as he said, "Appearances were prioritized at the cost of speed. Form over function, easy to understand, yes?" Bro, Subaru scratched his head at the way of thinking so different from the world he had come from. But the girl in the carriage prodded him, speaking in a fairly playful tone. Hold on. The fact that Al is just like open to him in this regard, right? Al can easily guess what's on his mind and easily ascertain and build that communication bridge between Priscilla and Subaru. Huge. Huge. It makes me wonder, like, it genuinely makes me wonder, how much of an impact does Al have, like, on others? Like, like, in terms of, like, him being the communication piece for Priscilla. So, peasant, what is the purpose of you riding in this carriage? Purpose or not, it's because you told the guy there to invite me aboard, right? No, that was a trigger, but not the reason. I'm not asking why you came here. I'm asking what is your reason for being here? For a moment, Subaru refrained from a comeback as he searched for better words. It burned him, but it clearly was not the time to get on the girl's bad side. She might have just thrown him out of the carriage, but worst case, he'd be finding out what it was like to be on the business end of the sword on Al's hip. Besides, she had chosen her question deliberately, not why he had come here, but why he was there at all. Because I need to go to the royal palace, that's why I'm in this carriage. Correct. That is your reason for being here. Put another way, so as long as you carry the reason with you, you would be hunting for another way to get into the palace, even if you were not in this carriage, yes? Subaru lowered his head, unable to repeat the girl's words. That's right. Maybe I'd end up sneaking on one of the rich folks' carriages. So long as he could not accept giving up as an option, Subaru would have groped for a way... Groped? Or hoped? For a way to get into the royal palace. Hold on. Into the royal palace by any means necessary. Even if it meant... Okay, that's... Even if it meant sneaking in aboard a nobleman's vehicle. But as Al pointed out, that's reckless talk. Even if you could normally, this is a real special day. The checks are going to be a lot stricter. There's pretty much no way that work without help from the guards at the garrison and people taking care of the hostages. There's pretty no way in. So, what I'm getting a feeling of, Priscilla is really testing his resolve. I feel like Priscilla might be a lot more attuned and likes to fight in people than is usually let out, right? Like, Priscilla as an individual is probably, the way that she's testing, she's throwing out all of these like open-ended questions in a way, is actually really smart. I think it's smarter than a lot of people would let on, because most people would just go ahead and like, all right, that's your purpose, cool, whatever. But the way that she like doubles down, it's like, okay, that's, you know, I understand that might be your purpose, but why are you here? Or like, that might be the what you're here for, but why are you here? Big. Naturally, Subaru had no connection with which to make such arguments. No doubt he had completely failed if he had attempted such a plan without being prepared. If that's the case, getting invited here is such a huge lifesaver, huh? So you boarded this dragon carriage because you aim to enter the royal palace. In other words, you believe the carriage is heading to the royal palace. There is no meaning in hiding it. Surely you are aware of this as well. Yeah, that's right. And if this isn't going there, letting me off now because I'm on the wrong ride. I'll interrupt it with a low chuckle. Sorry, this is a special express that won't stop until the 4th station down the line. Subaru's raised his eyebrows at the expression. But the girl continued, before he could follow up. She glanced over at Subaru as she said, luckily for you, this dragon carriage is in fact heading to the royal palace. And do you understand why this dragon carriage is heading to the royal palace? I pray you do not disappoint me by being a foolish commoner, manipulated by the information before your eyes and fail to miss the obvious. If you are, that makes you a fool whose life bears no value. Answer with care. Wow, how's it going, Rudo? I hope you're doing well. This is what I'm talking about. The way Priscilla claps back. The way Priscilla claps back is great. So I'm guessing Priscilla values intelligence, right? Not just natural, like, observational intelligence, but, like, I would like for Priscilla to clap back. Well, the way that she's giving it, like, you know, he has to at least be of a minimum intelligence level or a minimum observational level to go ahead and try and, like, understand what's going on. As Subaru swallowed his breath, the girl uncrossed her legs and sat up. She sat with her legs off to the side, her back straight and deep in her seat as she gazed at Subaru and asked, why is this dragon carriage heading toward the royal palace? This dragon carriage heading toward the royal palace because, held by those captive 2 red eyes, Subaru felt his stomach squeezing. The extreme pressure rolling off the girl no doubt would make the weak of spirit buckle then and there. She was a proud girl who spoke and acted like she viewed the entire world from a position above it. She had an obedient servant in a luxuriant dragon carriage. These formed the outline, and when Subaru added the final piece, the puzzle was complete. There was only one possible answer. Because you are participating in the royal selection, this carriage is carrying a candidate. My, in other words, you do understand. You're one of the candidates fighting for the throne of the kingdom of Lagunica, aren't you? As Subaru's reply, the girl narrowed her blood-colored eyes, and let loose a blood-curdling sadistic laugh. Ow! Right, I understand. It's what you figured, bro. This young lady is a candidate for the royal succession of the kingdom of Lagunica. This is Lady Priscilla Burial. Bro. The fact that just like her demeanor and the way that she pushes him. Priscilla's using a tactic. It's not so much as viewing something from above. I think. So Priscilla, the way that she's asking these questions of him and pushing him, I feel like some people might get the opinion that Priscilla is being mean. That Priscilla is being like in a power over situation, right? But I have a weird feeling that this whole thing is like, in therapy, sometimes we do a narrative exercise. Not even a narrative exercise. We do like third-person perspectives, right? In order to try and gain a better understanding of a scenario. If you ever feel triggered or you ever feel like you have to go ahead and understand your situation a little bit better or try and find out what the best answer is or try and see if a person is really there for you, try and do a third-person perspective. Literally. Imagine yourself in the conversation that you were having earlier, that you made a dumb decision or whatever. Put yourself in a third-person perspective in like if you're in a current situation, and ask questions that might lead to an easier result. I are just carefully listening. So I'm wondering, because I feel like a lot of people might just automatically jump and be like, oh, Priscilla's in a situation of like, you know, abusing that power over, which, yeah, sure, from time to time you might necessarily go, right? At least superficially, Priscilla and Echidna are similar in their conversations with Subaru. They're similar in a way, but at the same time, for Priscilla, I think she's testing people's mettle, right? The resolve. Does she really want someone that's just going to sit there and lick her feet and, like, you know, give them a good smell? Or does she want someone that's gonna be a little bit spicy back, that understands why intellectually they're revolving around, you know, certain scenarios, certain moments, why they have to go ahead and you know, do certain things. It's like she wants to see the real picture, not the bullshit picture that we put on when we wear masks, but the real individual as to who they are. And that's why there's this third person ality, or like this third person perspective that is being pushed along with the questions that are being asked. Al, on the other hand, the way that he talks, is this like, it sounds weird for the, like, I haven't read the light novel, right? So I'm not sure if other people use bro, or if that's just like a common day thing. Because is Al even like, if no one else uses the way that he's framing the words, and you can tell even by the way like his sentences are structured, they're a lot easier to read, like modern day, as opposed to Priscilla. Is Al, oh bro, I hate to even ask this. I hate to even ask this. Let's look real quick. We're stopping right here. Hold on. We're gonna come back and analyze this. Let's look at the way that Priscilla talks. I pray you do not disappoint me by being a foolish commoner manipulated by the information before your eyes and fail to miss the obvious. If you are, that makes you a fool whose life bears no value. Answer with care. All right, let's look at the way that Al speaks. I know, bro, I get it. Looking at this and wondering what you should say. He says, Oni-chan in the Jeep. I wish I would have more context for how the others speak, like Julius or Reinhardt or whatever. But the fact that he says bro, and like the way that it's translated here, it makes me feel as though he might be in the here and now. Yeah, he sounds a lot more modern Earth than others. And also, the way that his sentences are structured, it's a lot more like modern-esque, I guess. It's what you figured, bro. Like, I don't know how else to put it. It just feels as though like he doesn't belong in this time. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. Al called the leisurely posing girl Priscilla, a name he spoke with reverence. Priscilla nodded in satisfaction at her servant's words before looking at Subaru. One might argue that even a fool would have answered dustily after being provided with so many hints. Regardless, you may rest at ease. At the very least, you have avoided an immediate shedding of your blood. Well, I'm relieved too. This thing may be huge, but I don't think we'd ever get the smell of blood and guts out of it. I would simply arrange a new carriage in that case. Worry less about such trivial things and more about my mood. A petty bourgeois like me just can't understand the princess's sense of money. Priscilla and Al engaged in a casual master-servant banter as Subaru watched. He suddenly let out a long sigh. He'd hazard a guess where they parted ways the day before. Without doubt, Priscilla's haughtiness marked her as someone from a society's upper class, telling him she had a strong pedigree. But what he really settled at was Emilia's reaction. Emilia had been fearful of coming in contact with Priscilla in spite of the robe she wore, meant to conceal her identity. If Priscilla was Emilia's political rival, it all fell into place. In that light, the fact that she'd invited Subaru aboard the dragging carriage meant... You knew who I was yesterday, then. It would seem she attempted to conceal herself with some pathetic rags. The way she hid in nook along the street suited her public image very nicely. Why, there's things you say and things you don't. Subaru was unable to hide his indignation at Priscilla's mockery of Emilia. Hey, lay off, bro. I only just got her to chill out on the spilling blood stuff. Al, hey bro, fucking chill. I just got her in a good mood, man. Like, take a second. Like, bro, fucking breathe, brother. Like, you know, it's he mentioned getting off at a station earlier, so it's weird. Yeah, by the way, I'm an anime only, so I'm guessing here. Yeah, dude. Same here. I'll be like, I need to babysit. It took only an instant as Subaru stood up. Al drew his crescent sword and touched the thick of his blade against the bottom of Subaru's chin. One step further and Subaru's head would roll from his shoulder. Al continued. You get how Princess is by now, right? That's her default mode. So just be the bigger man and accept it. If you don't, well, you chose wrong. Fuck, that's her default mode. Dude, that sounds like a straight up just computer term, dude. That's just straight up an app mode there. For a one-armed guy, you're pretty handy with that thing. I live longer with one hand than with two. People adapt. Unable to see Al's face to judge whether he was joking, Subaru clicked his tongue and backed off a step. Accepting this, Al twirled his razor-sharp weapon and returned it to his sheath. Subaru sat back down in his seat and calmed himself. He scowled at Al's helmet, made a satisfied shake, rubbing salt into his wounds. Subaru gazed at him and broached the subject that had been nagging him all this time. Is it too rude for me to speak where you lost that arm of yours? He was pointing at Al's left arm, the most distinctive thing about him, if he was trouble answering. For once, I wouldn't mind, he thought. But that spurred a turn of events different than he had expected. Sure, I can see why it'd bug you. It was my baptism to a whole different world. You know what I mean, don't you, bro? He was isekai'd? Hey, yo! Okay, I was right before even being right. Hey, yo!
I predicted all of this, you know.
Hey,
all of it.
That's pretty good. Hey, that was pretty good. Actually, phenomenal work on the author. Phenomenal work on the author, quite literally leaving the sentence structure to tell the story. Like, you know, the way that the sentences were structured and the way that they speak to be able to go and grab those context clues before anybody else. Huge. Huge. Subaru had meant to gain some measure of revenge upon him, but the unexpected truth washed that thought away. He stared at the abject shot while Al toyed with the gasp of his llama in his left hand and tilted his head a bit. What? Don't tell me you didn't notice by now. I'm the only one who knows what you're going through, bro. Huh? Subaru let out a breath as his eyes opened as white as plates. Al's words had frozen his thoughts stiff. With his brain blanking out, he was at a complete loss of words. The boy raised a hand, his head feeling up dizzy as he chewed out over the implications. Wait. Understand what I'm going through. You, really can't really blame you for doubting me. I couldn't believe my ears yesterday. That stuff about how even chance meetings are the result of karma, the red threats. Haven't heard those quotes in 18 years. 18? The outrageous length of time caused Subaru's voice to catch in his throat. In real time, he had only been summoned 1 month prior. But if what Al said was true, that's right, bro. It's been 18 years since I got summoned here. I lost my arm around the same time, right around the age you are right now. Just like that, Al confessed to Subaru that he had experienced the same situation. However, Subaru was far from overjoyed at having easily found someone like him. Al had spent 18 years in that place and knocked the wind right out of him. Bruh. Bruh, 18 years being summoned in a location like this. What's it gonna be? Al, like, you know, Al loses his arm and Subaru just keeps dying, or Subaru loses his eye, or Subaru loses his leg or some shit, right? Like, there's gonna be some atrocity out there about, like, the sense of loss through being isekai'd as a joke. But dude, I just can't believe it. Al, if Al can connect in this way with him, and if Al knows what people are going through, I'm surprised that Al didn't jump at the opportunity to connect even further. It might be even the fear of connecting might mean that there are other individuals out there who might cause more harm in the long run.
Yeah, this is big brain time.
The fact that the anime cut this out, man. Unnamed, bro. That's right, bro. That's right, bro. It's been 18 years since I got summoned here. I lost my arm around the same time, right around the age you are right now. Bro, if Subaru lost his arm, like, right there, I would have lost my shit. But no, luckily, he doesn't. Just like Al confessed to that, Subaru had experienced the same situation. However, Subaru was far from overjoyed at having easily found someone like him. Al had spent 18 entire years in that place and knocked the wind right out of him. Did you ever find out how or anything? Wait, how I lost my arm or the summoning? If it's the arm, it was when I didn't know right from left here. It was a plain ordinary mistake. If you mean the summoning, I still don't know. It's not like I've looked under every rock and the reason why I got called to the world. I've been working my ass off to survive. Fair. Fight or flight, man. Fight or flight. So Al Chuli had lived 18 years. Hard for me, you not knowing this. Al Chuli had lived 18 years in another world. Being blessed with a relationship like Subaru with Emilia wasn't common. It really did hit close to home. He could very easily have lost an arm or spent his days desperately trying to live, forgetting all about the time. It was by good fortune that Subaru Natsuki was not walking a path quite that bleak. We did the Moshiko Tensei trailer. We did the Moshiko Tensei light novel chapter. We did a ReZero breakdown of the trailer as well. We're currently doing a ReZero chapter, and then we're going to get started with the anime. So we did quite a bit, Kaufme. How you doing? Yo, what's up? Notice me, senpai? Yeet. How you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. Going through this, though, I'm like, fuck, dude. Because that means other people have been brought into this world. Right? I'm wondering now. I'm wondering now. How strong are the witches? How strong are the witches? Would you say they're planet, universal? Do you think that they could break the laws of time and space? Yes. Yes. We know for sure it's in light novel. Well, Pandora. That's... I don't know, man. I don't know. My brain is trying to like rack around stuff. They're all different power levels. That doesn't really answer anything. Like, is someone able to go ahead and bend the laws of time and space? Girlfriend and I binged the entire Oji-san Isekai Harem Isekai Dungeon and Dream Card. Hey, yo, how was that? Did you have a good time? Because now I'm sort of wondering. Satella or Pandora, probably. Are there any ways? Best of time. Dude, that sounds like a lot of fun. I ain't gonna lie. That sounds like a lot of fun. Sort of wondering. Listening to this and seeing something like this, and even if you change the outcome or you start to cycle over or whatever, if there's any character out there who recognizes Subaru in the future, not necessarily by look, smell, color scheme, anything like that, I have a working theory, and I'm just gonna hold on to it because I'm kind of scared. I'm kind of scared as to what this author might be leading to. I'm scared because if the introduction of Al being here for 18 years from another world, right? And we clearly don't know more than that at the moment. But just the concept of like being brought in at different time periods. And even for Subaru himself, being in this environment, dying, coming back, 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 dying, coming back. It's like a multiple universe explanation for things. But realistically, I hate to put it this way. This is gonna sound weird. What I'm looking at is this. We have timeline A, and we have splinters from timeline A, like all over the place, right? But nonetheless, the point is to get from point A to point B. Or is it? Is there even a point, or is it just a cyclical nature where all of these like breaks and stuff from pride if, gluttony if, whatever, greed if, all of these if stories, even like the stories where he dies, all correlate to one big point, right? So I'm wondering specifically, we don't know the time ratio between worlds. That is true, FBI. That is absolutely true. So I'm wondering specifically three things. Number one, what is that? Are there any characters in here that can break space and time? you know, or universes in that sense. Number two, have there been any other characters that look, smell, act, whatever, similar to any of the characters that we know, including Subaru? And I really do mean Subaru. Because if there is, oof, oof. Number three, can people from the past still live? Can people who are isekai'd into this world, or even non-isekai'd individuals, be in a state of, what do you call it? Like, be in a state of like, when your body's like there, but you're not really aging type of thing? And like hundreds or 200 years can pass, but you're still there. Because I'm sort of wondering, I'm trying to make sense of what this information means going forward. Like a stasis, exactly, like stasis. Not necessarily a coma, right? But more like a way of stasis. Anyway, sorry guys, because all of a sudden my mind's just like dropping into different causalities and different aspects of situations and shit. Priscilla's haughty behavior shattered the gloomy silence that fell over the carriage. You two men in your glum faces are dulling the luster of my dragging carriage. From what I have heard, 'tis all trifling issues of the past. Even the clownish tall tales about your homeland beyond the great waterfalls make for a more amusing conversation for me. Beyond the waterfalls? Don't you know, at the end of the map of the continent, the land ceases at the four corners of the world, with all washed away by great cascades of water. In other words, the great waterfalls. From time to time, there are rumors of people who have come from beyond them, such as you and Al. Most are simple nonsense, but Al is different. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Why do you think that? Do you have some sort of concrete reason to think? Intuition? Is this a world within a world? Okay. This is the information I'm receiving here. Or oh god, I don't even know how to approach this. How do I approach this? How do I explain this even? My brain knows, from my brain it makes sense. Okay. Could this be essentially that one of the witches reached a 5D layer of existence? In case you guys don't know, right? If we were to look at a single layer of interest in time, space, whatever you want to go and call it, single flat thing is one dimension, right? Two dimensions, you have like one and the other way, so it's only two different aspects. We live in a 3D world, right? But we can experience 4D with our senses, right? But a 5D we can't even begin to conceptualize. For a person that is living in a fifth dimensional, either universe, being, whatever, imagine the world as a sheet of paper. We can't even begin to comprehend the nuances as to what they can do, what they can hear, what they can transfer on over. And if this is a separate reality, see that there's the world, and you have this being with hundreds of sheets of paper. Our 3D world is just stacked. Hundreds of sheets of paper just stacked, stacked all the way up, right? For us, what we get to experience is within those pieces of paper. For a 5D being, that's just a book. Sorry, this is sounding like I'm like on some like next level whatever, dude. I swear I'm not. But what I'm thinking about is if you have, if even by putting the four corners of this time or this space with parameters around, I'm wondering if this is a manifestation of that 5D being creating multiples of these things all around, you know. Sounds good, Touch Me. I appreciate you. So you're putting multiple worlds. Say that this is Lagunica or the entire world of ReZero with great waterfalls all across, and you have like the general concept of the world, right? All of these are books stacked endlessly up and another one and another one and another one. And he brings in people, or they bring in people from this other world onto this world. Subaru's consciousness is able to travel through each one of these world dimensionals, right? What I'm wondering is, coming through that great waterfall type thing, is that what it means for a 5-dimensional being to push a new creature into this world, into these books? And for that person, they wouldn't even notice. For them, it would just be a boom, a sudden shift. Because even for us, we wouldn't be able to notice 5-dimensional beings, or even beings that are directly in front of us, but quite literally shuddering at the different speeds that our eyes can't keep up with. Or when we blink, you know, suddenly moving in those blinks, or moving in our vibrational senses, which is why, like, for example, frame per seconds, right? If an individual can vibrate at a specific stance, or at a specific rhythm, at a specific something, they can be living in an entirely different world than ours while still coexisting with us. So you think the real world, the world that Subaru was before, was isekai, is stacked in those dimensions. Interesting that you say the real world. I think Lagunica is a real world too. I think that the world, the Earth, is a real world, or is a world as well. I think they're all real. Absolutely. They're all real. I think that the Earth isn't, like, if I was the author, I wouldn't necessarily just put the Earth, you know, I'd put multiple, like a chess player, exactly like a chess player. I'd put multiple dimensions, but for the ease of the story, let's go ahead and say Earth, right? What happens in a situation like this? As I said, time is not linear. Time is cyclical. And you put an individual who goes through many great trials, sort of like He Who Remains at the end of, like, the Marvel universe, right? Who understood sort of everything. And his death caused everything to, like, spasm out. But what if they didn't die? What if they were just broken up into pieces, and he returned into the natural state that is being a being? That is being a being that, say, the separated versions of himself, or the atrocities, the sins, whatever may come out. And he's able to go ahead and bring in people into this course of reality from it. Because he's no longer just the body, but more of a 5D individual. Sorry, my brain's... I'll explain it better whenever I have my full thoughts, like, transferred out. But essentially what I'm getting at is, because there's no like immediacy towards this, and because 18 years can pass and we don't know the time ratio between Earth and this world, and we're now getting to understand that this world is flat, right? Or off of what they're saying, and yet the world is round in Earth. You're talking about different senses of reality. And because we're talking about different senses of reality, we're talking about individuals or beings that probably surpassed what is to be a human being. If that doesn't make sense, it's okay, man. I feel you. No worries, no worries. Don't even fucking fret about it. Because even I'm like, my brain is hurting. My brain is pounding. But I have a feeling. How many chapters how many chapters or volumes are there going to be? Like 9 or 12 or something? Because I have a feeling that for some reason, if I were to do something, I would probably aim for 13. And probably hide the 13th one until it's, like, ready. As, like, a special one to tie everything in, right? So you tell a story from 12 arcs. Oh, 11, 12. Oh, shit. 12 arcs. Okay, 12 arcs. 11 arcs? 12 arcs? I'll just wait till you see the other two scenes. This is interesting. That's all I gotta say. This is really, really interesting, man. It was recently changed to 12. Rumors that there's 12 now. Implied by the author. Implied by the author? Oh, shit. 12 is unconfirmed, but a possibility. Okay. Dude, I'm excited for it. Fuck yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Is it because he ran out of time, or why? I'm kind of curious. Anyway, don't you know at the end of the map of the continent, the land ceases at the four corners of the world? Doesn't that sound like a lot of the worlds that we play? Like in a lot of the video games. This is what I'm talking about when I mean 5D. Like in a lot of the video games, when you reach the corners of the map, you know, there's, especially the older games and stuff, there was like something, there was like something there that would stop, or like a special volume or something that like to catch things up unless he wraps everything up. Doesn't that sound like it, like, you know, sort of the edge boundaries maps of like a video game per se, or like, you know, a land or whatnot? The earth is flat. Greenpeace. No, no. But that's what I'm getting at, is like, for me, this all just sounds interesting, the way that this world is created, with all washed away by the great cascades of water. In other words, the great waterfall. From time to time, there are rumors of people who have come from beyond them, such as you and Al. Most are simple nonsense, but Al is different. Why do you think that? Do you have some kind of concrete reason to think? Intuition. It wasn't what Subaru expected, but the response fit Priscilla perfectly. Understand. Nothing happens in the world that is not convenient for me. In other words, my intuition is not a reason. I require none. It is in all answers by itself. Al is a buffoon of a different breed than the other vulgar peasants and their nonsense, and it would seem that you are as well. You're unbelievable. Does it really benefit for you, benefit you for me, for someone related to your political rival to ride on the same dragon carriage as you? Even if her words were consistent, her actions were not. That was what Subaru was trying to get at. However, Priscilla smiled at him like a carnivore surveying her prey. How about this? I take you, someone related to my political rival, hostage, and use you to blackmail her into abandoning the royal selection. Or I deliver her your head and threaten her by telling her that she is next. Either way, 'tis a simple matter, is it not? Priscilla rolled her tongue around in delight, and Subaru's eyes whitened in distress. It was a possibility he had not even imagined until that very moment. And the reason for this was simple. Subconsciously, he didn't even think he was valuable enough to be captured as a hostage to bait Emilia. Your face says that it's beyond what you anticipated. That makes you think you are an even greater buffoon, yes? Dude, I feel like Priscilla and Evil Ed... would get along just great. I feel like Priscilla and Evil Ed might be best friends. I ain't gonna lie to you. I feel like they might tap each other's interest. I'm just gonna state it. Subaru hadn't even considered the risk of becoming a liability to Emilia. Priscilla clapped her hands as if she were making her sport of her own. Judging from your eyes, you have taken the girl's side for reasons of passion. Your mad emotions have clouded your vision, making you neglect what lies at your feet. No, words exist to describe your foolishness. Subaru was unable to even let out an ugh as he wilted before Priscilla. He had meant to rush to Emilia's side because he wanted to help her, to be there for her. But that had turned into a tragicomic farce. Al interjected, "Hey, princess, he's from my homeland. Don't tease him too much, okay?" Priscilla shrugged her shoulders. A look of tedium came across her. "I'm not berating him whatsoever. The peasant has realized his oversights and fallen into despair and gloom all by himself. It bores me. You need not overthink things, commoner. Had I intended to use you in that manner, I would have already have you dismembered in the street yesterday. That I have not done so, and invited you to ride within my dragon carriage. Make my intentions crystal clear, does it not?" True. I know, his homeland. So he's Japanese as well, bruh. He's Japanese as well. But that's why I'm like, or I guess Earth in that case. My big thing though is this. When it comes to a scenario like this, the way she's leading him on, it's that testing material, man. It's that testing material. It's literally just testing him time and time over. And people being spoiled here. We're just reading the special chapter, dude. Like, she teases him in a way that actually gets him to think. You know, she teases him in a way that is like, and at the same time is calling out his faults. He's going into gloom almost immediately, you know. The princess, in a way, Al from Earth, yeah, was supposed to be in season 1, but they cut it. Damn, dude. Damn, Prylewski. Damn, dude. That's my thing, is the way she's asking this question is she's pinging, right? And she's pinging for the sake of trying to see emotionally how he's at, mentally how he's at, all of these things. I think only an individual who has a clear goal, I think she's not a bad person at all, actually. I think she's more like, she has her goals straight and she knows how to test the mettle of people and know what they're worth. Whatever you're taking me hostage or not isn't where my self-loathing is coming from. I'm pathetic for not having thought of it. And why did you get me to ride this thing anyway? Subaru couldn't help but think that many of his actions had rebounded on Emilia. Priscilla's declarations have been hard to listen to, but they merely brought the fact to his attention. However harsh the lesson, it was the truth. When Subaru turned a questioning gaze towards Priscilla, she altered her position again, resting her chin on her hand. I've told you already, you're here for my entertainment. I think it will be more amusing to bring you to the Royal Selection Assembly than to use you as hostage or for threats. That is my decision. I have told you already, you're here for... Oh, yeah, that's my decision. Subaru was taken back by her completely unexpected thought process. To this, Priscilla yawned. Everything in this world exists to comfort me. Furthermore, I should decide the course of whatever I please. Whatever I decide, it shall be. Therefore, all I need to do is decide what will entertain me and what will not. There is no inconvenience to me. With Subaru still dazed, the girl closed her eyes, declining to discuss the matter further. Judging from her posture and demeanor, she intended to nap until the time of their arrival. Given there was a meeting crucial to the royal selection in another hour, it was truly bold. She was bored of him. She was bored of him. She already knew. She already tested his mettle, and that was it. Priscilla, in a way, if you want to talk about like dark psychology, the way that she got him to open up and even like point, like sometimes we have a process in psychology called rupture and repair, which is, as a therapist, sometimes we can purposefully break the therapeutic relationship that you think, oh man, everything's golden and whatnot, and say that you have an issue that you don't like to talk about. But I'm like, you know what? I need to keep you in a state where you can now think, or you now have to self-reflect on that issue. And I know you said that you're ready for it, that you're ready to do whatever it takes to grow or whatever, but are you sure you're ready? And even just by bringing up that concept and like, you're like, well, you get defensive, you bring up these walls. It's like, okay, I already know where you're at. You're not ready to talk about it just yet. You're not ready to fully go in there. And you went into gloom and doom. That means we have a lot more work to do. Priscilla is so charming. Absolutely. Priscilla is so... is interesting in that way. Priscilla is naturally based. Indeed, Priscilla is naturally based. But I think the way that Priscilla is asking these questions is actually the way that, like, as I said, either you come from a high pedigree or you have a degree in psychology. I'm gonna be straight up. It's one or the other. Because she's starting this rupture and repair process, and simply just by testing him. It's like assessment questions, right? And that's what I find interesting about Priscilla. Because for me, it's like she might be characterized as a villain, or even like an evil person by others, by Subaru, or by, whatever individual out there. But I don't think she's evil. I think she might have goals, and she's testing out people to see if they align with her and with her goals and what she's wanting like the type of individuals that she's wanting to achieve those goals with. Because she did not just come out immediately and dismember him. She didn't immediately come out and kill him. She was just testing him. She knows that by bringing him here, she's going to be at an advantage, because Emilia clearly did not want to bring him. That aside, because that's smart thinking. That's five-head thinking. She's in a royal selection. Of course she's going to do something like that. So she's very well educated. Very well educated. And the approaches that she does is very, very, very interesting. This question, your face says that is beyond what you anticipated. That makes you an even greater buffoon, yes? That question that Priscilla throws at Subaru, your face says that is beyond what you anticipated. That makes you an even greater buffoon. What is that saying to someone? I can read your face. Learn to disguise yourself a little bit better. Yeah. Granted, she did come up with the greater buffoon, but like, it's like a, hey, moment of readability here. If I can read you like this, others can read you like this. I think they're very different in their writing styles, you know, just overall. In terms of preference, I don't really have a preference. I like reading Mushoku Tensei just because it's, you know, you have like both of them bring up imagery. I like the way that this one is playing with the different tonalities and languages in terms of like the characters, highbrow, lowbrow, everything in between. It's beautiful. It's very well done. What I like about Mushoku Tensei is sort of like building the imagery and like the characterization with it. They both have their great moments and, you know, their greatness in them. But if do I prefer one over the other? Not really. I think both of them are really, really good in terms of like the rating capabilities. But I think because I've been reading a lot of the Mushoku Tensei novels, I can read this ReZero novel and be 110% on board. Tapei's writing style is seen as abnormal, even in Japan. Yeah. And like, you know, I can look at this and be like, dude, this is deeper than deep, because this is quite literally, it just expanded on Priscilla so much more as a character for me. And at the same time, it expands so much more on Al and why he's such an important character. And I wonder if they're going to expand on him in the future, right? Are we going to see more of an importance of Al in like the future seasons to come, or in this season coming up? That's deep. You don't just bring up a Sokovian gun like that. You know, you don't just bring up a Sokovian gun and just let it fall. So I have a feeling we're probably gonna get like we're probably gonna get a big impact of that. People have heated debates on what the words mean, since tonality and intonation of characters is important to Tapei's writing style. Al is a major player. Absolutely, Al is a major player. Dude, I'm so excited. I can't even stop. I'm so excited for the new season of ReZero, and this is just solidifying it. This little chapter just solidified a lot more of like the character depth and like everything. And like if I were to take notes, one of the big notes that I would take in all of this is like, Al is a true bro. Al comes from Earth. Al has been here for 18 years. Al knows the world. Al knows that at the end of the world there's 4 great waterfalls. Priscilla, oh, and Al is the communication piece. Al is the communication piece between Priscilla and everyone else. Hi, Russian doggo, how you doing? Touch Al is Subaru. Do some people believe that Al is Subaru? I don't. Has anyone explained? No one has explained that name to me just yet. Pyre. For Priscilla, I have a couple big ones. Priscilla. Yeah, we just read a ReZero novel chapter. We just read the selection arc, like little novel chapter there, man. Really, really good stuff. But Priscilla, straight up, rupture and repair are open-end question / very analytical in the way that she approaches situations. She doesn't really care for status, i.e. Al or others, as long as they are able to go to meet her merit. Yeah. Going through the novel after the anime was great. Yeah. Have a prequel novel and many side stories. Most of the characters have a lot of extra content. Your perception of the cast changes a lot when you read that. I'm so excited. Oh. I'm just throwing it out there because it's sus. He wears a helmet. I don't read the novel, by the way. Al is Subaru confirmed, according to Touch Me. I just think this is interesting. For me, I find this really, really interesting because it's putting in the emphasis of power onto these characters. And it's showing that they're not just two-dimensional characters. There's a lot more depth to them. They're a lot more human than we may think. Priscilla is not just a girl that will sit on you and make you lick her feet, even though I would like to. She's the type of girl that's going to go ahead and see, hey, wait a minute. Are you really aligned with my goals? Are you really going to go ahead and find out who you are, you know, as an individual, what you stand for? Are you willing to go ahead and show, like, at the moment that a trifle, an impact pops up, that you're gloom and doom, that all of a sudden you're struggling? you know. Al tiene magia de tierra y Subaru magia de sombra. Solo es eso mata la teoría. Exactamente, Akemi. Akemi viniendo y tirando balazos. Dude, you're just shooting everything else. All is auto. But that's my number one main. Subaru is everyone at this point. That's my number one main thing. There is like, this is beautifully done. No, I this is not all a dream. This is not all a dream. This is like probably gonna be a little bit more complex than that. By a little, I mean like Al is Satella. Yeah, if you read Satella backwards, what's the first two letters in there? Al, right? Therefore, you know that Al is Satella. Al is Petelgeuse and Subaru's Harry Potter. Wake up from your anime dreams. Oh God. Guys, what'd you think of this chapter specifically, or this like little thing when you read it? When you guys had the experience of reading this, or when you guys were reading ReZero, were there any chapters that stood out to you? Are there any chapters that for you are like, damn dude, like I had to reread this, and I need to reread it a second time, because there were like moments in there that played such a big role, not just later on, but before as well. It was such a wonderful calling. I think that this is a beautiful chapter. I actually really liked it. I thought that I might have had some difficulties like getting into it, but once you get into it, and once you, for example, I think the anime helped me out. You're probably gonna predict the ending, Russian Doggo. What are you talking about? No, bro, no. I think the fact that the anime really helped me understand what I'm reading. I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. The anime already put in the perception of what Priscilla was, so I had a schema of Priscilla. And so when I'm reading this, I'm already imagining and layering it onto the character. I could have done this vice versa as well, right? Like if I started off doing like the light novels or reading the novels on stream, and then like seeing the anime, you know, then I could have been like, wait a minute, this anime doesn't complete the entire picture of what Priscilla and Subaru is. But doing this backwards, for me, even for like Moshiko Tensei and whatnot, it's like I already have a base for this, what this character was shown as, and now poof, I have layers built under that, right? So I can appreciate both for the mediums that they are. I that's probably the best way for me to put it, dude. I'm not gonna predict anything, dude. A lot of the, like any big predictions, like or anything like that, it's not even predictions. It's just like psychological analysis comes from aspects like this. You know, I can see the characters in my head better too. I wanted Ed to read ReZero when oh well, here we are. You should read the Crush novel sometimes. It's also important to understand her and Felix and Tappy's take on the gender spectrum as need. Ooh, that would be cool. Can we make that the next one? Can we make that the next one? That would be actually really cool. As long as it's not like in the future, as long as we're staying like season 2 and down, I'm down to read pretty much anything. It's an entire novel. Holy shit. Well, we might go chapter by chapter on that novel then or something. Season 1 and season 2, which we got cuts. I do have to say, this is really fucking cool for me personally, coming back and watching this. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, YouTube, even through the random talks, the random things thrown out there. For me, this is a good way of like easing back into the series, because once season 3 starts, as I said, we will be doing the episode, right, analysis and reaction, and the novel analysis, like, you know, talk all the way up to where the episode stopped, to get a further understanding of what's happening. Hope you guys enjoyed it, YouTube. I hope you guys stay safe. Hit that like button, subscribe, let us know, and you guys can thank FBI and everyone else out there.